Hi, Life Groups. Welcome to the last week in our sermon series, The Way of Jesus. Over the last 8 weeks, we have been spending time thinking about the Christian practices or the disciplines. And really, it's just spiritual formation. How do I grow into a mature, fully devoted follower of Jesus? And so we think about practices of abstinence, the things that you give up. And so there's solitude and silence and fasting and simplicity and chastity and secrecy and sacrifice. Then there's other practices of engagement. So for some, we give up things. For others, we engage with them. Study, worship, celebration. That's this weekend. Service, prayer, fellowship, confession, the things that we do. And this is all about training your soul. So if you've ever run a race, been in a part of any type of athletic endeavor, there's training involved. And it's the same thing as we apprentice Jesus, that we train our souls and we provide spaces in our life for him to meet us. And so this weekend, it's celebration. So we're just going to talk about what is celebration. How do I practice this? This sounds like a fun one. How do I practice this? And then why should we celebrate? So we're going to look at Zephaniah 3 at the end of our time. So what is this practice of celebration? I think, first of all, it's just so interesting to see the scope and the breadth of the practices. It really is a summation of the whole Christian walk. So even the sermon series has felt very different on weekends. You had more of a heavy weekend with confession, and that's the things that we're supposed to do. And then we had a practical weekend with Bible reading and journaling. And then now it's a fun, kind of uplifting topic of celebration. I think that's great. It actually shows that all of life is sacred, that there aren't things that we do apart from our relationship with Jesus. And so celebration, simply defined, is a way of engaging in actions that orient you toward worship, praise, and thanksgiving. So actions, things that you do that orient you to praise, worship, and thanksgiving. So anything from a pickleball match to painting a model to painting your house to making a meal, all of these things can be done in celebration. It's a posture that we take as we worship, praise, and give God thanks. So what is celebration? That's a definition. It's responsive. It's in response to who God is and what he has done. There's a philosopher who says that God is the most joyous being in the entire universe. Think about the beautiful things you've seen, the northern lights, a beautiful sunset. If you've ever been whale watching, a breaching humpback whale, beautiful things that are awe-inspiring. Think about this, that God sees those things and has created those things and takes the same joy as we do infinitely in all of these things. So this philosopher says, all of the good and beautiful things from which we occasionally drink tiny droplets of soul-exhilarating joy, God continuously experiences them in all their breadth and depth and riches. God is full of joy. He is not out as a miser to get us, that he is the most joyous being. So it's in response to him that we celebrate. And so God is also active and alive. There is always reason to sing and rejoice, even in the toughest moments of life, because God is alive and God is active. There's always hope and always joy bubbling up within Christianity. So if you read Lamentations 3:20-24, it's, man, things are difficult, but I still have reason to rejoice. So it's responsive. It's also required. It's required. Celebration is required. Sometimes when we think about Christianity, we think of it just being so kind of morose and heavy and kind of kick the dirt type stuff, but it's required of us. So sometimes within Christianity, we think of it as too much pleasure or too much or too little pleasure. So we dishonor God as much when we fear or avoid celebration as we do by living for it. I'll repeat that. We dishonor God as much when we fear or avoid pleasure or celebration as much as we do by living for it. Celebration fights the skepticism, the cynicism, and the negativity of our day. Yes, the world is dark. It is heavy. Things are going badly, but because of Jesus and his resurrection, this is a required fact. This is a required thing. So it will be a constant thing, because every moment of joy or celebration that we have, it's fleeting. It's a sense of, oh, I wish this could continue. But within Christianity, we're going to have that forever. So it is required both now and forever. How do I practice celebration? Personally, I think gratitude is enormous. Lots of studies show that people who practice gratitude have overall better health, mentally, physically, and spiritually. When we understand that, as James says, every good and perfect gift comes from the Father. And so practice gratitude. How do you do it? You practice gratitude. God loves you. He saved you. And so as you incorporate celebration, it's living in a posture of gratitude towards God and his goodness. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you pursue the things that give you great joy and gladness. It's making of meals. It's working at your job. It's serving, worshiping, laughing, dancing. It's having people in your home. It's really acknowledging that God is a giver of all of these things. And in that way, we can have celebration as every part of our life. So that's personally, corporately, within your family, within your life group. How can you practice celebration in your life group? Maybe switch it up. Go out for a meal together. Make a meal together. Enjoy appies. Change up your regular evening to have fun. Go and have an activity. Do something. Switch it up. Enjoy each other and the goodness of God in this world. Then at church, how do we do celebration? We do it corporately at church. Do you realize that every Sunday is Easter Sunday? The tomb is empty every Sunday of the year. And so there's a sense of celebration as we gather, as we recite and rehearse the good news of Jesus, that he is alive. So we do that every weekend. We do it through song. I pray that our church wouldn't be distracting in our worship corporately through song, but we would be engaged, that we would be passionate, that if there's anything to get excited about, man, we would do it for the things of God. And so we cheer at an overtime victory at the Blazers game at the Sandman Center. How much more true should we be doing that here at KC on the weekends when we think about Jesus as resurrected from the dead? So let's get excited. So we do it through song, through word, through sacrament, through generosity, that God loves a cheerful giver. And so we do this every single week as we practice it. So why should you celebrate? I just want to give you 5 reasons why. For some of you, you're in a tough season of life. 5 reasons from Zephaniah 3:17. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In his love, you will no longer rebuke you. He will rejoice over you with singing. 5 reasons to celebrate, regardless where you're at. Say, number 1, God is with you. You are not alone in this season of life. He is not forgotten. He is aware. He hears every prayer that you pray. There's a theologian, Robert Murray McShane, and he says, for every 1 look at yourself, take 10 at Christ. And I think that's so true. He is with you. For every 1 look at yourself and your circumstances today, take 10 at Jesus. He is alive and he is with you. God is mighty to save. That's number 2. We are never too far and we are not our past. Regardless of where you're at, God is mighty to save from that situation that you're in, from your stuff with your kids, from your marriage, from your finances, from your work, whatever. He is mighty to save even you from your sin today. He's mighty to save. Number 3, he will take great delight in you. Do you realize that you are not a burden to God? Have you ever been celebrated before, honored publicly before? It's a feeling of, we don't really know how to take it. What Zephaniah comes to us and says is that God takes delight in you. He's not ashamed of you. He loves you and delights in you. It's amazing. Number 4, God will quiet you with his love. The sense here is that we can experience peace. He will quiet us with his love, which is beautiful. Number 5, God will rejoice over you with singing. Imagine what it would be like if God sang. What would that sound like? Would it be powerful, majestic, gentle? Man, it's all of that. See, for some of us, we feel too guilty, too ugly, not good enough, too addicted, too dirty, too afraid, too defeated, too depressed, too lonely, too ashamed. But today, why can you celebrate? Because God rejoices over you with singing. Man, what a powerful image about who God is. And if we were to get that into our souls, we would celebrate. It would change our life. It would change the way that we view God. It changes the way that we view ourselves. And so there's 5 reasons why you can celebrate today. I am so grateful that you've engaged over this series. Thanks for your investment and bless you now as you talk amongst yourselves. See ya.